French defense, Tarrasch, closed, main line, Leningrad variation, 9.00 BD7. Sudden a close game that was lost by a mistake. White really outplayed Black in that one. White played the opening well, but Black was on another level. White pounced on their opportunities in the middle game. Sharp games are frequently the result of starting with the king's pawn since it dominates the center and frees up the bishop and queen on the light squares. While preparing for d5, the French defense prevents the light-squared bishop in favor of a strong center and opportunities for counterattacks. The center is fully controlled by d4 and the dark-squared bishop is made available. The e4 pawn is threatened by the center counterattack on d5. d2 develops the knight and defends the e4 pawn. f6 attacks the e4 pawn and supports the d5 pawn. e5 closes the center, attacks the knight on f6, and controls the d6 and f6 squares. d7 retreats the attacked knight and prepares the c7-c5 pawn break. c3 supports the d4 pawn and allows the queen to develop to the queen side. By doing this, a bishop moves out of its beginning square and into the action. c6 develops the knight and attacks the d4 and e5 pawns. e2 develops the knight, protects the d4 pawn and prepares castling. d4 releases the tension in the center and attacks the pawn on c3. d4 recaptures the pawn and opens up the c3 square. b6 repositions the knight toward the queen side and opens the d7 square for the bishop to develop. Castling gets the king out of the center and activates the rook. d7 develops the bishop toward the center and clears c8 for the rook. It is the last book move. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. A wise decision. It is quite good. This misses a chance to concentrate a knight so that it can dominate more squares. It is incorrect. A powerful play. It is quite good. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. The knight can now control more squares as a result. It is ideal. This requires an open file, a typical technique for rook activation. It is quite good. This protects a knight who was being attacked and lacked defense. It is ideal. This misses an opportunity to develop a bishop off its starting square. It is a mistake. After all captures, this is an equal trade. This is the only move that works. This was a game-changing move, giving white a winning position. It is a great move. Recaptures. It is ideal. The bishop is now on a square that is more secure. It is ideal. This defends an underdefended pawn that is inadequately attacked. That's good. Very precise. It is best. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. That's good. Backs off. It is ideal. That is a logical response. It is quite good. As a result, the bishop may now control more squares because it is in a better position. It is quite good. This develops a bishop off its starting square, getting it into the action. It is best. Among the best actions. It is quite good. That's a decent move. That's good. Now that the rooks can see one another, they can defend one another. It is quite good. It's all right. That's good. A wise decision. It is quite good. A powerful play. It is quite good. A rook enters the action after developing outside of its starting square as a result. It is ideal. By moving a rook from its starting square, this activates it. It is ideal. This reveals an attack that poses a threat to a queen. It is quite good. By growing a queen from its beginning square, this activates the queen. It is quite good. This is winning stuff. It is ideal. This gets rid of a pawn that was posing a material threat. It is quite good. The rook was available for free. It is ideal. This turns the pawn into a passed pawn, which means no other pawn may oppose it as it advances. It is ideal. That is a logical response. It is quite good. Thus, a forced checkmate is possible. It is incorrect. This is how you impress a queen. It is ideal. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is ideal. This keeps on until checkmate is reached. It is ideal. Among the best actions. It is quite good. The threat of checkmate is still present. It is ideal. This misses an opportunity to threaten winning a bishop. This allows the opponent to play checkmate. It is an inaccuracy. And the game is over. It is best. Sudden a close game that was lost by a mistake. White really outplayed black in that one. White played the opening well, but black was on another level. White pounced on their opportunities in the middle game.